Welcome to the Exponential Marketing Club, where we talk about everything content marketing, from just getting started with your business to growing a captivating presence with your website and social media, and on to scaling with Facebook and Instagram advertising for exponential exposure and long-term success. Hi, my name is Sally Hendricks, your host and exponential marketing strategist. Let's get started, y'all. Hey, everybody, this is Sally Hendricks with the Exponential Marketing Podcast. I've got a guest here, Vicki Conley, and we are trying an experiment today, which ought to be interesting. So today our topic is flesh out an idea to market, and we are in Clubhouse. It's a newer app as of last year. It's improved a lot over the year. And we are in that room together, but we're also on Zoom together, recording the podcast because it gives us a better recording, if you will. And we're just going to chat today. So, Vicki, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you, Sally. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
The reason why I wanted to talk with you, Vicki, is because you and I have been working together and have known each other since late 2015. And you joined my original program that I started in 2016 that allowed me to leave my job. You have done many different things. Your hands have been all in it. And you were, at the time, I think you were actually selling stuff on Amazon. And then you told me that you had experience selling things on eBay, and you were doing that for a living. And I was like, that's pretty cool, because it gives you so much flexibility in being able to take care of your family, take care of your home, travel, which is huge for you. And it's just been a pleasure to see you do whatever it takes to take an idea to market, right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And, I am definitely a serial entrepreneur and, and I'm an early adapter to things like the Clubhouse platform. And as just one example, and, if I have an idea that makes sense to me, I run with scissors sometimes. I always try to combine it somehow though with a project that I've already got going, just so that I can justify my latest new idea. I don't like to give up things. There's very few things I've given up, but I try to find ways to streamline them, or at least to, have them lead me to the next new idea that I've had. But yeah, I've sold on eBay for 19 years now. And I think I started on selling on Amazon in 2014. So I was just getting started in 2015 when I met you, but I go to conferences and trade shows and things. And I had come upon a really good idea at that trade show I went to in 2014 when I was just getting started with Amazon. And by that Christmas, I think I sold $10,000 in product that month. Just, the Amazon was hot at that time, and getting in and finding a new product that, that provided value to, to someone in the market, and learning how to market it. Well, at that time on Amazon, you really didn't have to learn how to market it. You just had a good product and threw it on Amazon and it would sell.
Now, were you selling hats back then? Is that
what
you're
and I still sell hats. In fact, yeah, I still have quite the inventory that during Christmas time I do Facebook Lives on my eBay Facebook page, and I do online auctions, and I start things at $5 and most times it's like, hey, I've got 20 of these. It's like $5 for anybody that bids. It's like, that's the type of $5 auction it is.
Yeah.
So, and then I offer a good deal on shipping, just trying to move my inventory, because I'm getting more into print on demand, which is going to be our topic of this discussion. I'm trying to find creative ways to move my inventory, and I can focus more on the client that can on my clients that I can offer them a print on demand solution to market to their clients.
Very cool. Do you want to stand out from the crowd with your content? Come discover how to market yourself as an expert, as a change maker, as a positive influence on other people's lives. With the Exponential Marketing Club, you will learn the ins and outs of content marketing that makes a difference in the world. Visit sallyhendrick.com/club. And before we get into that segment of our topic, I wanted to mention the fact that you were doing some things with cruise ships. What's going on there?
Okay, well, that was pre-2020, of course.
We all know that, right?
And actually, what you're connected there too, because one of the times I was co-organizer of a conference cruise ship. It was for e-commerce sellers, and we were in Fort Lauderdale at the same time you and your family, or no, was it? It was Miami.
Yeah.
The same time you and your family were there boarding your cruise ship. And excuse me, I got a tickle here.
Yeah, what did we do? We walked around that lake or something, or what was it?
I had a car for the day.
That's what it was.
Yep, I was in town for the day and I had a car for the day. And so there was like nowhere to park. So I picked you up at the cruise port and we just drove around, and then we went over the bridge. I can't remember the name of the place we were, but yeah, we got a really good photo of the two of us with the Miami cruise port in the background. We stopped at that little place it was like a photo spot.
Yeah. Well, just one of those viewing spots. Yeah. And your daughter was there. She's sweet.
And my daughter was with me. Yep. She was kind of always my assistant. Not that I really needed a lot of help. I mean, once you get on the boat, it's like the cruise ship takes care of most everything. That's why I really love doing conferences on cruise ships. But
yeah,
we're just getting started. Oh, I can't believe they haven't cruised in out of the US in like 17 months, just getting started this month. So we'll see how things turn out. But
yeah,
we help people with that if that's anything someone would like to talk about, putting something together.
So let's go into this talk. You say in some notes that you wrote to me, you said that you personally relate to and love using themed journals. Tell me a little bit more about that. What are you doing with the journals?
Well, I've always liked writing. When I was a kid, I kept a diary, and then, I kind of got out of the habit of it as an adult. We all get wrapped up in our own things and never read anymore, never write anymore, things like that. Well, in 2014, my husband passed away, and part of that healing process for me, it was very therapeutical to write in journals. So I bought a journal. A friend of mine had created a journal, and I just thought that was so cool. And I think I started doing vision boards that year too. One of my books I wrote is called Vision Board Amplify. That's a whole nother thing.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. So she wrote a book called The Year of Yes. And so I made that my motto for that year. It was my year of yes. I only had to do things that made me happy. And I bought her book, which was it was like a prompt journal. She had a theme for every day, and I got in the habit. It's definitely habits to write. I got in the habit of writing, and I didn't do it every day, but I kept it up. And then the next year I bought her next book, and then I had going to these conferences, these eBay events and conferences. I had friends they were selling tools and teaching you how to use, these ways of creating your own books. And so it took me like a year and a half to really really get into it. But I remember that was like 7 years ago. Well, it was probably that same time frame, like 2015, 2016. I remember pool in Las Vegas. That's where the conference was, talking to my friend Stephanie, who is the organizer of the Sea Commerce Cruise, and just talking about creating coloring books. I think that was the theme back then. People were just getting started and they were like the number one seller in Amazon at the time was a coloring book, of all things. And
yeah, coloring books, like the adult coloring books.
Yes, adult coloring books. That's when those were first becoming really popular. And I just remember sitting at the pool talking about that idea. And so a year and a half later, I actually made my first book, and it's completely blank pages. I created the cover art and I added my branding, my logo on front, and it's a composition notebook. And I take it when I go to meetings, and it's just, it's just cool. It's something that has my brand on it. And now I can use it as a marketing tool, showing someone how they can get started, with their own version very simply. I was too embarrassed at the time to actually even put my name on it as the author. I called it Hippiedewdles because Hippiedew is one of my brand names that I sell on Amazon.
I love that. I love that.
And you know what? Yeah, I was just thinking about the other day, I can totally recycle that name, Hippiedewdles, and I can name this new business book idea Hippiedewdles.
You absolutely can. And I love how you do that, because I've seen various ventures that you've gotten into, and I love the names you come up with.
Yeah, and
really
like I said, I always try to combine my ideas together to justify what I'm doing. So yeah, Hippiedewdles.
Do you have a dog? Learn unleashed potential dog training secrets with Duke Ferguson. This free video series will get you pro training tips so you can get your dog's attention, eliminate behavioral problems, and enhance your relationship in just 20 minutes a day. Sign up at sallyhendrick.com/dog training.
So tell me about the meetings you went to this week. You said something about Chamber of Commerce. What happened?
Yes, I went to our local Chamber of Commerce event, and there I network a lot, both locally and internationally, and I hadn't lately, so it's easy to get out of the habit of that. Well, a potential client was having a ribbon cutting ceremony this week at Chamber, so I created a mock-up example of a business card book, and I created my own business card book at the same time to use as an example, and set my goal to have it ready. And the event was Wednesday night, and it was a huge success. I've got a meeting scheduled with the marketing director of, it's a roofing company, and they actually did my roof. I had some hail damage out here, and they did my roof. So it was nice to meet all the employees, and they all knew my name because I was a client of theirs, and I could show them this book, how I can, help them with this. And they've already had a couple of meetings talking about this idea.
Excellent.
And so I've gotten we haven't set a date yet, but I'm in communications with their marketing person to talk to them about doing a couple different things. They're really not ready. They don't think they're ready for an entire book right now. What they are requesting is like a 6-page document. Well, the minimum book that I can really create is 24 pages, but it's easy to add blank pages. You just add. I have a package I'm putting together that includes like this book belongs to, and a copyright page. And, there's probably a half a dozen pages that they can use, templates that we can put their brand on and add them as the author.
You know what you could do?
What's that?
You could add worksheets for home
Yes.
expenses.
Yep.
You
Yep.
could add worksheets for, you
Yep.
know,
That's in the
repair
whole-
people contact list. I mean, I would love to be able to just open up a book in my house and go, oh, here's the plumber we use, here's the roofer that we used 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Here's the, whatever. You could do that for them.
Exactly.
And that would be huge for their marketing.
Yep. And that was included in the example book that I provided for them. Yeah. I put together
Yeah.
a 40-page booklet. And the reason I use 40 pages is the service that I use. It's the same cost, whether you use 6 pages or 40 pages. So, yeah.
Well.
But 6 pages is what they're concerned with. So I'm coming up with some creative ideas for them that, we can use for those. Oops,
Some of it can just be imagery, and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be content that they either provide me with, or I can take it directly from their website. So it's already content that I can repurpose that they're already using. So they don't have to put a lot of time and effort into it if they choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and actually the Chamber of Commerce director, we were only talking for less than 2 minutes, and I showed her my book, and she's like, oh, would you do a presentation on this for the chamber? And it's like, heck yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Well, good. And you can get that
Yes.
presentation together and
Yes.
really show them how this is going to help their customers they'll stay top of mind with their customers.
Yep, exactly. They can provide something of value for their customers, something that they're going to keep handy at their fingertips, and a guide for them in a niche service or market that they provide. And their branding is right there along with their favorite call to actions.
Turn what you know into what you do. Join the platform with the most ways to monetize what you know, whether it's online courses, coaching, memberships, podcasts, newsletters, communities, or more. Kajabi gives you all the tools you need to build, market, and sell it with just a few clicks. Sign up at sallyhendrick.com/Kajabi. That's Kajabi.
So here's something that I'm looking at in your notes, talking about calls to action. You've got QR codes that could be utilized on these pages. And you know what I just thought of immediately?
What's that?
If you had a wedding planner that was able to put together all the vendors that the bride needed to contact, or different ones that they recommend.
Yep, I have a sponsorship package that I offer for my clients, offering them, ways to get started with this, like joint venturing with their vendors and providers, and nonprofits also. If there's nonprofits that have sponsors, we can work with the sponsors on helping to pay for the costs of getting the book started.
The other thing you could probably do with the chamber is to get them familiar with QR codes, because I think even though they've been around a while, some people just aren't used to the whole digital thing. And you could just bring that up as one of your slides and say, like, look how easy this is to be able to do. But then again, the pandemic has made it so restaurants have their menus on there.
Yes, it has. And in fact, there again is a perfect example of how I've been an early adapter on things. The year in 2012, 2013, I created my company Market for Mobile, which I still haven't killed that one yet. And that's where I, incorporate my QR codes. I've been making QR codes since 2012, and they just never really caught on because people don't understand how they worked. But with the pandemic happening, and the restaurants are training our clients how to use QR codes for us, and they can be so helpful and so valuable. And It's a pain in the butt to have to go in and type a website address into your phone, where if you could just open your camera, scan that code, click a link, boom, you're there. It's so easy.
Very cool.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a client that they spell their name differently. They have a hyphen in there, and they say their people are always having a hard time finding their Facebook page. So when they created their book, they made sure that on the front page, they put a QR code to their Facebook page. So.
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, you could do it. You could do that for all your social media, anything.
Exactly. It's just a graphic, and it's easy to insert a graphic into a book.
Yeah. That's fun. And plus you get to get back to holding something in your hand. Most people will throw away a business card. They will lose a business card. It doesn't necessarily service as well these days because business cards are not as prevalent. But if you've got a bigger book that's going to take up space, it's not going to get lost in a sack or lost in someone's purse. It's going to be noticed. And if that person is truly a prospect of your clients, then they're going to be like, oh, I need to keep this book. I need to refer to this book. And if it becomes a resource for them in other parts of their life, then that client's always going to be top of mind for them, whenever they need a new roof or they need, or whoever you're working with. I think that's just so cool.
Right. Or, word of mouth marketing. They may have a friend over and, their friend talks about, this project, and they can be like, oh, hey, look, you need to call these people, and, it helped me with this and that. So.
Yeah, exactly. And if people are doing digital marketing with this, think about maybe you or someone else, anybody having one of your clients' books at home, and then they talk to a friend and they show them the book, and then there's a resource inside there with a QR code, and that friend can just scan the QR code and take it with them. And if they actually click and open something up, guess what? They get tracked.
Yep. Exactly.
If you have tracking in place for your website, of course.
Exactly.
But yeah. So very cool. Anything that you want to mention before we wrap up? Like a success story. I've noticed something you talked about, a local gym in Colorado.
Yeah. And that's actually the client that has the hyphen in their name, and their clients were having a hard time finding finding themselves on Facebook. They have a quarterly challenge that they offer their membership in the gym. And so they used to hand out PDFs on stapled pieces of paper. And so they've created this guide in a little 6x9 book that fits into a gym bag, nice and easy. And, their clients love it. And that they are not my clients, so I'm not sure whether they give them this book or whether they sell it, but it's, they can offer the PDF for no charge and sell the book for $10 or something, just to, make their money back. And it's a quarterly book, so they can update it with, after the initial setup, they can, work on a program to update their book seasonally, and then have new content every time, and without that much added expense.
Would you rather work or would you rather play? If we're going to go through all of this business building stuff, it better be for something that we love doing, right? Take a moment to do this quick life purpose challenge to discover what makes you truly happy. It's free. Visit sallyhendrick.com/life purpose.
That's cool. And one of the things I want to relay this to, just the marketing formula, is that when you tell success stories of businesses or clients that you've had or people you've heard about around a concept, an idea that you've come up with, those stories are going to be what sells the idea. And as long as you have identified some sort of pain point, like oh, the business cards get lost, or, oh, people aren't using my preferred vendors and makes things more difficult when I'm trying to do this job, or people, whatever the pain point may be with someone, as long as you can point that out for them so that they can help solve their own clients' problems. When this is B2B, right? Because this is a marketing tool for a business.
Yep,
So
I'm doing B2B.
You have to think about what helps their clients the most. And if you know those pain points, and then you can tell stories around that are success stories, then the last thing is to talk about the solution, which in your case is this book that you're talking about that you've started creating. And I just love that whole concept.
Thank you. And you can't put a story on a business card. So this, and I'm not saying to eliminate business cards completely. They still serve their purpose, but if you have a high ticket item and you have VIP clients, maybe clients you want to impress, this is a perfect solution for them. And before we wrap up, I reached out to a couple of potential clients before our talk this afternoon, and I heard back from one of them, and I asked him what issues that he had with his business, because he's really growing fast. And if I would have just reached out to him cold, I probably would have pitched him on the wrong idea, because I have reached out to him cold in the past, and but it never really went any farther. So I asked him what his pain point was with his marketing and his business, that I was launching a new idea, and I wanted to see if there was anything that I could help him with that. And his quote was, he says, "I'm really struggling getting my name out there to hire employees right now. Otherwise, So he has tons of customers. He has a security firm in Kansas City, and he's like the largest security firm in Kansas City right now. But, he needs to have, good employees." So, off the top of my head, I'm thinking that he could create a journal for the job seekers that are out there, offering tips on finding a good employer, and then including pages of what makes his security company a good employer. And that's also content that, would be good for customers. So it's, content that could easily be repurposed once they have employees filled and they're ready to grow their business again. So that's kind of what I came up with off the top.
I love it, because, and you know what, you wouldn't have known that, and you would have walked in the door with the wrong idea.
Exactly.
If you hadn't known that was what was top of mind for him.
So now I have an idea to pitch to him, and I'll let you know next week in our roundtable meeting if we're getting started on that.
Excellent. Well, we may have to talk again.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add before we go?
Oh, just, I just, again, to thank you for this opportunity. You and I, we've collaborated on some of my ideas, out of the box marketing projects in the past. And, I love how you guide and support your students. And I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to share my new biz card book idea. And, I do have a website set up at bizcardbook.com. And if you'd like to get on if anyone that's out there listening would like to get on my list, as soon as I have author copies of my book come in, should be within a week or so, I'm going to offer them free to anyone that's listening. I just asked for a small $5 donation for shipping and handling. And this is one way how I'm using my book as a lead magnet to finally grow my email list, which is something that I think that's the initial topic that drew me to you in New York in 2015.
Well, excellent. I'm so glad that this has come together, and I can't wait to help you through it when you have questions. And I look forward to seeing you in class in the next week or so. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening today. Now head over to sallyhendrick.com/clubhouse to participate in our live and recorded events. Thanks for being here.